I am so happy that you have joined us today on the show. We have a beautiful story for you today about childlike faith. I have a friend here that is going to share with you how she was able to connect and say goodbye for the very last time to her very best friend as a child. This is the childlike faith that we all dream about. This is the God experience that we all want to have. Stay tuned and watch what love means.
Innocence lost, sin took the fall. Love gave a gift, most precious of all.
So we are back, and I wanted to introduce you to my new friend and our guest, Gina Golderman. Gina, I'm so happy to be able to interview you at this beautiful church. I just love it. Everybody in it too.
Thank you.
So I know you have a really wonderful story to tell. We talked a little bit about that off camera, and it really is, it's near and dear to my heart talking about the childlike faith. That's what Jesus tells us that we need to have as a childlike faith. And so I know that when you became a born-again Christian, you were a child. Tell us about that event.
When I was 12, my best friend passed away in a car accident with a drunk driver. And it tore me to pieces.
Yeah.
He was supposed to have lived 3 days in the hospital, and he died. And my mom did not let me go see him. We were going to wait till he got home. So I never got to say goodbye. And I was so mad at God. And keep in mind, I had gone to church my whole life, and I was a believer already, but no way could there be a God that would take my best friend away. And the way he did it. And so I didn't talk to him. I quit. There's no God. And it was probably 8 months, not quite a year later, that I'm on the porch at my parents' house, obviously, since I lived there.
You hadn't moved out yet.
Yeah, 12, right?
Yeah.
So anyhow, I am crying. I'm home alone. Mom and Dad are at work, yada, yada. And I'm crying, and I'm just missing Mark. And
he was your best friend, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were together all the time. He was also a neighbor, of course. When I just finally said, God, if there is a God, then let me talk to Mark. Just one more time, please.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, I'm in another city that I don't recognize. Just boom. Wow. And it was what was weird and memorable were the steps or the curbs for the street were that deep. And so it's like nothing I've ever seen before. The older buildings and everything. And when he died, when the car accident happened, it was the day before my dad's birthday. And so I'm on this street, and here comes Mark walking up the sidewalk. And so we talked for a little bit, and he said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I have to buy a gift for my dad's birthday. And so we went into one of the stores and bought a gift for Dad. And then we went out and sat down on that big, thick curb, and we just talked like it was the day before he died.
Really?
And when all of a sudden he goes, well, I have to leave. And he got up and left. And so next thing you know, I wake up on the couch. I sit up. So I don't know if I was asleep, but it definitely was not just a dream.
Yeah.
Because on the coffee table was that gift.
That's crazy.
If that had not happened,
yeah,
I would have thought it was a dream and blew it off. But because of that, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that God is real.
He is. Yes, ma'am.
And he's shown me many, many times over in my life that he can do anything.
He certainly can.
Physical, spiritual, supernatural.
Yes, absolutely.
All of
He
it.
can raise the dead, Gina.
He's real.
Absolutely.
And
He can do whatever he wants.
yeah, the proof is what, I mean, you ask, you receive.
That's the big deal. A lot of times, if we think something can't happen or something isn't possible, sometimes we hold back from asking because we're like, well, you know, that's not possible, so it'd be silly for me to ask. But because of the childlike faith that you had, see, that's what I like.
I think for me, it was at the time, it was in desperation.
Yeah, you were hurting.
And then he showed me he was real in such an astounding way,
Yeah.
you know. And I was scared to tell anybody, so I never really have shared it publicly.
It's a great story, and it is real because, like you said, you had the physical proof. And sometimes God does that, I think, because he knows your heart, and you were a child.
Yeah.
And he knew what you needed at that moment for him to reach out and show you it's going to be okay, Gina.
Yeah.
And you're going to get to see him again. Mark, his name was Mark, yeah. You're going to get to see him again. So since you came to that realization, did all of the anger just float away at that moment?
It didn't exist anymore.
Have you ever doubted God again?
No.
Never.
No. How could you?
Right.
I have physical evidence,
Yeah.
you know.
So your life as an adult then has been lived in faith, and you, like you said,
Well, you know,
you hit the teenage years.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I became rebellious.
Yes.
But I knew God was there to
Yeah.
catch me when I fell.
Yes, that's what happened to me too. Absolutely. I mean,
And he did. Oh, my goodness. There are probably numerous times I should be dead.
yeah,
But,
me too.
But God.
But God
But God.
and his angels. He
He's
has,
got an army of angels.
right? Thank goodness, because we needed them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So as
My brothers know I was rebellious. They called me a brat. Yeah.
So how many brothers did you have?
3.
You had 3 brothers. Were you the only girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
Growing up, yep.
That's what made you tough as nails, girl. Is having those brothers. You got to be when you got 3 brothers.
Yep.
Were you raised here in Texas or
No, Iowa.
Iowa?
Pleasant Valley, Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when did you come to Texas?
Oh, let's see. It would have been in '83 with IBM.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. So when you came to Texas and all that stuff, how has your life been? You said that he's shown you in many, many ways that he was real. How have you related to him as an adult compared to the way you related to him as a child?
I would say probably around 2005, I found a church that had a very strong pastor, and joined that church. And Randy here kind of reminds me of him.
I love Randy.
But the pastor before was Barry, and he taught me so much.
Yeah.
And that was when I actually started getting a deeper personal relationship.
Right there. That's when it kind of changes over
Mm-hmm.
from the childlike faith to really getting it, going from the milk to the meat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And then Barry retired, and I just felt lost, you know. And Shelton invited me to come here, and started coming here, and I met Randy, and I said, oh, yeah, he knows a lot.
He does know a lot. And
So-
he's also ADD and ADHD and all that stuff. So you
like the rest of us, right?
exactly. Well, if there was one thing that you were to tell the people today that you really wanted them to know, what's really the most important thing on your heart about God and about what they might need to know about God, what would that be? Something that you would just want to drive home to them and make the point to them today from this interview. Do you have something?
He is real, and trust him. Even if things are going really, really bad, his angels, his army of angels are around you.
They are.
And they are protecting you. Yeah. And even if you think you're going to die, you know, he's got you. Mm-hmm. And that faith will get you through.
It sure will. And also it's okay to be mad at God. Mm-hmm. He's got big shoulders. He can take it.
He'll let you come back.
That's right. He knows your heart, and he knows exactly what you need. And I love your story. And you had told me when we were talking earlier, you said nobody's going to believe that. But you know what I have learned about our testimony? Nobody can take that from us because it happened to us.
Yeah.
Only to us. And so people, they can't say, well, that's not true. How do they know? That happened to me. I'm telling the story. It belongs to me. It's not your story. It's my story. And it's real. And you can take that to the bank. And I tell you something else, that there's other people. We talked about this earlier. There's nothing new under the sun, no nothing. And there's somebody else out there that has had a similar experience. They may want to reach out to you. How would they do that, Gina?
Well, I have an email address they can email me at. It's G. Golderman, Goldermann, @yahoo.com.
Yeah, there might be somebody that wants to get in touch with you, and we always like to do that. And I also want to that's the Texan in me, but I want to thank Godly Methodist Church for letting us be here for the third time. It's such a wonderful church and a wonderful body of believers. And remember also, if you would like to sow into the ministry of What Love Means and HTV Ministries, we have so many ministries that are just really growing. We could use your help, and you can go to my website at htvministries.com and you can hit that donate button. We would truly appreciate it. And if you live within a couple of hours drive from the Metroplex of Dallas-Fort Worth and you would like to be on What Love Means, you can do that by just going to the contact button on the website and getting in touch with me. Thank you so much, Gina, for coming. You are a blessing. I love your story. Thank you guys for watching or listening, and we love you too. Jesus loves you more. Bye.